Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Denise Salcedo, and what a night in professional wrestling it was here today. We have so much to get into for tonight. I'm freaking out. I'm internally freaking out because today's Royal Rumble was so bloody fantastic. We had so many major moments occur on tonight's show that I'm freaking out because we have so much to talk about. But first of all, I want to thank you guys so much for coming in, for picking my post show to come in and watch and enjoy. And we're going to break down all the major moments of the show, talk about how we felt, things we liked, things we didn't like, although there was a very few things I didn't like on tonight's show. I think, in fact, all the things I liked, there's more things that I liked that happened on the show than anything I didn't like. Also, I do want to go ahead and let you guys know that if you guys want to go ahead and just send in super chats or anything like that, if you have a comment, question, or anything you want me to read on the stream, I am more than happy to go ahead and read those. Feel free to send in any super chats. They do really help out the channel. So we're going to go ahead and talk about everything. But before we get started, guys, let me know what your overall thoughts of the show were, how you guys felt about it, what were the most exciting parts to you, biggest mark out moments. Go ahead and send them in. Also, for those of you who do not know, I did do a Royal Rumble pool, so I will be announcing both the men's and the women's winner from the Royal Rumble pool that we did, and those two people will be going home with $15 Amazon gift cards. So it's kind of fun. First Royal Rumble pool I ever did. But let's go ahead and start reading people's comments in terms of what they really enjoyed, and then we're going to go ahead and just kind of go through everything, guys. So here we go. We have a comment from Jake Larson who says, fantastic show. My complaints are such minor nitpicks like Bailey out too soon and Big E's elimination. Overall, so good. This was probably the best pay-per-view I have seen in quite some time, especially one of the best WWE pay-per-views that I have seen in a very long time. We have a comment from Jordan Booth who says, I've genuinely never ended a WWE pay-per-view feeling this happy. Edge is my all-time favorite. Bianca is bloody fantastic. Both totally deserved winners. So pleased for the both of them. Guys, when Bianca Baszler won, it was one of the most exciting moments that I have ever seen in wrestling history. And I've been watching wrestling for 20 years now, 20 years. And I cannot tell you, I was on the edge of my seat during that. I'm going to be posting my live reaction to that match later on this YouTube channel. So I will be posting that up. But I cannot tell you guys, I was screaming, so nervous. It was just so much, guys, so much. We have a comment from Chris Lemche who says, Christian's return had me in tears. I was expecting Christian, I was expecting him a little earlier in the men's Royal Rumble when Edge was being attacked by multiple guys. I thought that Christian was going to come out at that point. And then once he didn't come out there, I thought maybe he wasn't going to come out anymore. But then when he eventually did, it was a really nice moment. And then that stare off, that moment between Edge and Christian where they kind of just looked at each other and you could see so many emotions in Edge's face. It was brilliant. We have a comment from Ruben Zuniga who says, I popped off when Bianca won and when Orton RKO'd Edge. Sucks he lost, but happy Edge won. Dude, I'm so happy that Edge won. I thought that was probably the best option out of the last final men that we had there. We have a comment from The Phenomenal Viper who says, the men's rumble gave me so many options. I would have been happy with so many different options. This was one of them. Yeah, it was one of, we've talked about this on literally every podcast that I've been doing. The number one thing that I and my other co-hosts were discussing was the fact that this year, it felt like it could really go to anybody. There wasn't anybody that was a clear cut, okay, this is the person who is definitely winning. We have a comment over from Antonio Cordova who says, this might be one of my favorite WWE pay-per-views in recent memory. And you want to know why tonight's pay-per-view was so good? The reason why tonight's pay-per-view was so good was because I felt that WWE really listened to the fans. I think that this time they really listened and they didn't try to make things more complicated. It was straight and to the point. This is the plan that we are doing. And, I think that with having that, They didn't piss people off tonight, is what I'm saying. Even if, let's say, your favorite person didn't win the men's or the women's rumble, it almost didn't matter, just because the winners and the endings and all of that felt so grand and the moments felt so big that it didn't even matter. So yeah, it was great stuff. Lenny says, 4 out of 5. I'm annoyed about Edge winning. Omos screwed me twice. You're annoyed about Edge winning? I'm actually pretty surprised. I think that Edge winning was a really nice story. Cactuar Cloud says, Bianca winning, Edge winning, and Christian in the ring again. One of the best rumbles ever. And we have a comment from Harriet Velasco who says, when Charlotte got eliminated, it was the most satisfying moment I've ever felt since winning. Guys, I'm a Charlotte Flair fan, but I knew that she wasn't going to be winning this Royal Rumble. I was like, it has to be either Rhea Ripley or Bianca. And my pick was actually Rhea Ripley. That was my pick because I thought that they were really going to go with her. And I didn't expect, honest to God, did not expect for Bianca and Rhea Ripley to be the final 2 women in that match, because even though those were the people that people were talking about actually wanting to win and wanting to see, I still didn't think that they were actually gonna do it. Because how many times don't we say, oh, we wish this will happen, we wish this will happen, and then it doesn't happen, something totally opposite ends up happening. So I actually really enjoyed the fact that we got what we wanted. And we have a comment from Justin Martin who says, Edge and Bianca winning were both great emotional moments for totally different reasons. One is making of a new young superstar. The other is a huge step in a legendary comeback story. Justin, thank you so much for pointing this out, because you are very right. My favorite thing about Royal Rumbles and the Royal Rumble winners is seeing somebody that that we know could be at that next level. Somebody that we know is on the precipice of becoming a big star. We got that with Drew McIntyre last year. We didn't necessarily get it with Charlotte because she was already at the top of her game. And then this year, we got it with Bianca Belair. And if anything, this Bianca Belair win felt bigger than a lot of the other ones. It even probably felt a little bit bigger than Drew McIntyre's win, just because I think more people last year expected Drew McIntyre to win. And this year, people wanted Bianca Belair, but I don't necessarily think a lot of people actually expected her to win. I think there's a big difference between wanting someone to win and actually expecting them to win. And holy cow, guys, we got our first super chat. Thank you so much to Peter O'Brien for sending in a super chat. You, my friend, are so awesome. I really appreciate that. Seriously. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into this, guys. So keep sending your comments throughout each and everything. I'm gonna keep reading them. I'm gonna go through the card from top to bottom and get into the heavy duty details about what actually occurred. But in the meantime, if you guys do want me to read any of your comments, statements, questions, whatever it is, feel free to send in a super chat like my good friend Matthew McCoskey just did. He says, crazy detail. Both Rhea and Priest entered at 14. Matthew, my friend, I tweeted that out. So Rhea Ripley, for those of you who do not know, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest were both my picks to win the men and women's Royal Rumble. Those were my picks, all right? And they both came at number 14. And I do have to say that even though Damian Priest didn't make it to the Final Four, didn't end up winning, I still think he had a great showcase. He got so many good eliminations, including that elimination where he eliminated Kane. And then Rhea Ripley, even though she didn't win the Rumble, she is still a star. And the fact that she was in the final 2 with Bianca Belair made Bianca Belair winning just that much more impactful. Had it been anybody else in that ring with Bianca, it would have still been a magical moment. But I do think that having Rhea Ripley as a potential person brought Bianca Belair's win to a whole other level. We also have, oh my gosh, I'm getting so many super chats. Yay. Y'all, I'm gonna eat now. I'm just kidding. All right. Thank you to Ryan Johnson, who also sends one in. He says, did Bianca's feet touch the floor at the end when Rhea and her were hanging off the ropes? ? Or was it just me? Still happy Bianca won though. No, I don't think her feet touched the touched the floor, excuse me, because I was looking pretty closely, although I was very high on emotions at that moment, but I don't think, at least from what I saw, that she touched the floor. And obviously with all eyeballs, that is something that people would have called it out had she did. And we have another super chat from Chris Ludek, who says, the ending of the last man standing match felt a little anticlimactic. Dude, Chris, the last man standing match was balls out, freaking crazy, insane. Kevin Owens has a gosh darn, he has a death wish. Like, that guy is extreme as hell. So I don't even care that the ending was a little bit funky, you know, with Paul Heyman not being able to get the handcuffs off of Roman Reigns, whatever. I don't even care about that, just because I felt that the match itself was brutally exciting. And it was one of the matches that I was most looking forward to, aside from the men and the women's Royal Rumble. Like, the Roman Reigns Kevin Owens match was the match that I knew, okay, they are going to take this to another level. And they did. With Roman Reigns, his mastermind work really showed in this match. Like, little things. When he was getting the 10 count from the ref and he was handcuffed, he knew he couldn't get out of it. So what did he do? He grabs the ref and bangs him right into the steel. Like, that little thing just kind of took the match for me to another level, because it really showcased like what a heel Roman Reigns is. Like, he is so desperate to win this match. He is willing to grab the referee and throw him into the steel platform. So it was awesome in that sense. And then just with Kevin Owens going out there and doing these killer spots, like, oh my God, we'll get into that more later. But also, okay, whoa, guys, I'm losing track here. All right, we're getting, also, Wrestle Talk is in here. I lost your comment, Wrestle Talk, but I know you're in here, so thank you so much for coming in. Peter O'Brien says, who is old and who is legend? Goldberg, Christian, is Naomi back? Okay, so I would definitely consider Goldberg a legend, BTW. I know he gets a lot of flack, but at the end of the day, a lot of the work that he did is still, you know, top notch from the past and all of that. And Christian, freaking awesome. Mark, so hard to have him on here. Naomi is back, and I was so happy to see her. And I'm going to get into more detail about Naomi, because I'm going to put Naomi so over on this stream, okay? And I hope I saw everyone's super chat. Okay. Yeah, I think I totally got all of your super chats here. All right, I did. Awesome, guys. So keep sending those in. I really appreciate it. They really keep everything going for me. Oh, guess who's in here, everyone? It's my good friend Luke from Wrestle Talk. Luke says, hey, Denise, I love this show so much. Luke, thank you so much for coming into my stream, first of all. And yeah, this was a hell of a show. And hopefully we'll talk about it a little bit more when we do our Wrestle Talk magazine podcast, where Luke and I just have a blast. So yeah, seriously, guys. We also have another comment that I wanted to read from Dan at ESPN San Antonio. What's up, Dan Selena? He says, solid Royal Rumble, no throwaway matches. Hell no. There was not one throwaway match. So let's go ahead and do this, guys, because we are railing all over the place. Let's kick it off with the pre-show match, which was the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Charlotte Flair and Asuka versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. So this match, this was one of the matches that I was least looking forward to. And I don't think many of you guys can blame me on this one, just because I wasn't necessarily feeling it. On several podcasts, I have said that I'm over the Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax tag team duo. And then with Charlotte Flair and Asuka, I really would have preferred to see Charlotte Flair come back until tonight, until the Royal Rumble, and have us, you know, mark out for when she comes out, because at the end of the day, you're still going to get that pop, even if you're not a fan of Charlotte Flair's or whatever, even though I'm a fan of Charlotte Flair's. But I would have preferred to have that instead. But either way, this match itself was, I mean, it was a pre-show match. It wasn't anything out of this world. And I just kind of feel, so we did have Shayna and Nia Jax win, but I just really feel that it was pointless to have Charlotte Flair come back to become champions with Asuka. It doesn't really feel like it's leading anywhere. And I, for one, am not a fan of the whole Ric Flair, Lacey Evans storyline. I don't think it's doing much for Lacey Evans. It's not giving her much of credibility. I really think that Lacey Evans, they haven't been doing her justice, in the sense that she could be such a likable person in the terms of that she was in the military, she's a mom, and all of this. Like, they can be doing so much different stuff with Lacey Evans instead of this, like, I don't even know what to call the thing she's doing with Ric Flair. I just know that I'm not a fan of it. So the pre-show match, I'm glad it was a pre-show match. I was good without it being on the main card, all right? So now, let's get into the main show. All right, so the match that kicked off this night was the controversial one, guys. The controversial one, which was Drew McIntyre defending his WWE Championship against Goldberg. So, okay, now, I was really nervous for this match heading into it because there were a couple of things that I didn't want to happen. So I didn't want The Miz to come in and cash in. I thought, God, please don't let it happen. I just do not care for it whatsoever. Now, I already knew Drew McIntyre was going to win. I know a lot of people thought that Goldberg was going to win and that WWE was going to pull the Fiend Goldberg thing again. I didn't think that that was ever going to happen. I was expecting a short and sweet, straight to the point match. And I have to say that is exactly what we got here. However, I was nervous because I didn't want there to be like an awful botch in this match because if there was, people were gonna like hate it completely. So I personally thought that this match was exactly what it needed to be. You had Goldberg come in, he hit his greatest hits, but then you had Drew McIntyre essentially, come out on top, and he looked like $1 million. And even though there are people out there that do not like Goldberg, for Drew McIntyre to have a win over Goldberg, the Goldberg name still means a lot, okay? So to me, for Drew McIntyre to have Goldberg as somebody that he has defeated as part of his championship reign, I think is a plus. Now, this match, I know we have a comment from Matthew who's asking how long the match was. So we timed it and it was 2 minutes and 35 seconds. So obviously the seconds might be off, but that's what I timed it at. Not right from when the bell rang. So right from where the bell actually rang, since they started before the bell actually rang. From the bell ringing, we timed it at 2 minutes and 35 seconds. And in that 2 minutes and 35 seconds, we saw a whole lot. I mean, we saw Goldberg getting in several spears, Goldberg hitting Drew with a jackhammer, Drew McIntyre kicking out, then Drew McIntyre eventually won with the Claymore. And then I also love the ending too, guys. I love the ending as well to this because they had this, just like a respectful moment, shake hands, give each other a hug. And I thought that this was great. So I was a fan of this match. We have a comment from a super chat from Peter O'Brien who says, how are we mad about Goldberg and not mad about 10 shows a year, Edge winning, ? We get an absent champion either way. Well, I can tell you why, Peter. People don't hate Edge the way that they hate Goldberg, and that's just the big difference. A lot of the wrestling fan community hates Goldberg, and Edge doesn't have that. So I would say that that would be the difference in terms of people who are upset. That would probably be the difference. But I know, guys, I'm a fan of Goldberg, all right? And I know I get a lot of flack for it, but at the end of the day, it's wrestling. It's entertainment. We pay your money. We pay our hard-earned money. You can cheer and boo whoever the hell you want. All right. It's sports entertainment, guys. Have a blast with it. Brandon Charles, thank you so much for sending in another super chat. Brandon says, I did hold my breath during that jackhammer, but the match was fine. You know what? I also think that the fact that so many people were terrified that Goldberg was actually going to win and that WWE is going to pull the plug on him once again, I even think that that kind of worked in terms of people like getting nervous, because even though I knew that Goldberg wasn't going to win, there was still a little piece of me that was like, shoot, what if? Like, oh my God. So I can only imagine people that were like, God, he better not win. So you kind of pull the passion from even people that don't like Goldberg, just kind of fearful that he might win. So I did like the intensity going into this match and the big what if, over our heads and whatnot. So there you go. That was pretty, that was a really good thing there. We have another comment from Peter O'Brien who says, but the champ is not there, ? Peter O'Brien, thank you so much for sending in this super chat. I truly appreciate it. We have a comment from John Elite who says, hey, Denise, I too was nervous, but I still had faith in Drew. Guys, my breathing in this match, I was like, I had like 50 heart attacks in this match, like no lie. We have it coming from Roman Too Lit, who says, Drew and Goldberg match was boring, but it was then I thought, but typical Goldberg. I mean, oh, he was making a joke. All right, Roman Too Lit. You know what? You're allowed to have your own opinion on here, so I don't care. Guys, this is the thing about my show. I don't care if people have different opinions from me. I like it. I think it's fun, guys. It's wrestling. Let's have a good time. We have it coming from JJ Bulldog. Thank you so much, JJ, for sending in the super chat. Guys, I want to cry. You guys are sending so many in. Like, I've never felt this special in my life. All right. JJ Bulldog says, even though Goldberg lost, he still might go after Roman Reigns next, or Edge probably. But what about the Fiend? ? I thought he was coming. Yeah, we didn't see the Fiend whatsoever here tonight. I know a lot of people thought that, especially with the rumor coming out that the Royal Rumble was gonna, the men's Royal Rumble was gonna end in a spooky, frightening way. I think a lot of us thought that it would be the Fiend, or he would have some sort of part in this, and he didn't. We didn't see anything of him. So I am very curious as to what they really have planned with the Fiends next, because I truly have no idea whatsoever. And then anything else here? All right, let's go in here. Matthew points out that we have over 300 people in here. Guys, thank you so much for coming into the stream. I like, just like, if you're in here, like, even if you're in here for a second, I just want to thank you guys so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate your views on here. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I might as well get that plug in there. All right, guys. So let's continue on. Let's move on. So right after the Drew McIntyre Goldberg match, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship match, and it was Sasha Banks versus Carmella. And okay, you know what? When did they set this match up? Because I feel like I was asleep or I was zoned out when they announced this match, because Friday morning, I did the prediction show and it wasn't up there yet. So I don't even remember if they did it on SmackDown or when. Clearly my brain was turned off. But I felt like this match was, even though there wasn't very many options for Sasha Banks to have. Thank you so much. So somebody's saying it was on Saturday and some people are saying it was on Friday. Okay, Matthew's confirming that it was on SmackDown. Oof, I slept on that. All right, so what I'm trying to say here is that even though this is the direction that it felt like they were going in with Sasha Banks, because they hadn't really built up any sort of feud or opponent for her for Royal Rumble, but even though this match was fine, I didn't think this match was anything special. I actually thought that their TLC match was a lot better, but it wasn't bad. I thought it was perfectly fine. They kept up a really nice momentum throughout this entire match. I actually enjoy whenever Reginald Carmella Sommelier takes, whenever he has any sort of interaction with Sasha Banks, they tend to have a really good chemistry between them. So I did like that aspect of it. There was a scary moment when Carmella did a dive onto Sasha Banks during this match, and Sasha Banks was like not in the right spot whatsoever. And Carmella just kind of like went right through her, and it like, she was probably like, her head was like somewhere around here, and then like Sasha Banks was where I'm at. So poor Carmella, like she broke her own fall there with like whatever hand movement she can get in there. But that was not a great spot for Carmella. But in the end, we had Carmella tapping out to the Banks statement. I thought this was an okay match. I didn't think that it had the hype that you would need for a SmackDown Women's Championship match on a card like the Royal Rumble. But again, it wasn't anything bad. It was perfectly fine. But I think if I had to choose my least favorite match of the night in the main card, it would probably be this match, just because it was just there. But really nothing to take away from it. I do want to say one more thing, though. I do need to give credit where credit is due. And I need to give credit over to Carmella, because Carmella has really been coming out and just, she's been proving herself. She's been proving that she earned her spot. And I think that Carmella has been doing a great job in this new role. And I do like what she has been doing with Sasha Banks. We have another super chat over from Keegan Knudsen, who says, do you think the nightmare scenario was Rhea Ripley winning because of her nickname? I don't necessarily think so, but a great catch on that, though. Great catch on all of that. And alrighty, we have a comment from Matthew McFadden who says, I enjoyed the match a lot, but their match at TLC was a banger. I agree. He goes on to say, so it's hard to live up to it. Both Carmella and Liv Morgan have improved leaps and bounds over the last year. Dude, Liv Morgan, I think that she just needs to be given the right opportunity. I think the only thing that's missing right now with Liv Morgan, and this is not her fault whatsoever, is just confidence, because she hasn't necessarily been given the proper opportunities to really showcase what she can do. She's sort of been tumbling back and forth, but Liv Morgan, if they use her right, she is a star right there. Honestly, a big time star. And we have a comment over from we have a comment from Vito who says, Edge versus McIntyre at WrestleMania for the title. Edge is never lose. If it is Edge versus Drew McIntyre, I still would like to see Drew McIntyre win on that one for me, honestly. And Riley Sharp says, Carmella has definitely improved. I do agree with that as well. All right, guys, let's continue on. So after the SmackDown Women's Championship match, we had the New Day segment, and this was great, guys. So first of all, hold on, we got a super chat. Thank you so much to Joe Nero West. Joe Nero says, I love the possibilities that the Rumble set up. Bianca versus Sasha, ? Maybe a triple threat with Bayley, ? Or even Bianca versus Asuka. I would love any of those. Plus, we could get Edge versus Drew or Edge versus Roman. What do you think, Denise? So I would honestly say that out of all of these options for the women, I would love to see Bianca versus Sasha. I think that's been the match that everybody has wanted, that everybody has sort of, dream booked or fantasized about in their head. So I really do think that the right call would be to go with Bianca versus Sasha. And then in terms for the men, I would prefer let me think here. See, Edge versus Drew would be fantastic because I think Edge would be an awesome opponent for Drew, and just to continue Drew as champion and just keep furthering him and elevating him as a champion, a feud with Edge would be fantastic. But it would also make a little bit more sense to have that feud with Roman Reigns, just because Roman is like the ultimate. He's the ultimate heel right now, and Edge has had such a good feel-good story that you can't help but to root for a guy like Edge. So I think that they definitely have possibilities. And again, like Joe Nero just mentioned, that is a nice thing about the Royal Rumble, is having those possibilities. And we have a comment from Matthew that I want to read because he says, I'm a big fan of Damian Priest, so seeing him get a great showing in the main event was so good to see. He was my pick, guys. I knew he wasn't going to win, but I was like, screw it. That's my pick. I like to pick for people that I would really genuinely like to see win. All right, guys, so let's continue on. All right, we were talking about the New Day segment, and I love this. It was hilarious. It was really nice. So basically, we had Kofi Kingston come back in this. Sami Zayn is going off about there being a conspiracy theory and how the New Day is going to get this great number and he's going to get a horrible number because of this conspiracy theory. And he says he has eyes in back of his head. And then out of nowhere, Kofi Kingston comes out and spooks the hell out of him. I loved this spot. I thought that was so funny. And just everything that Sami Zayn has been doing just really works. Like, he's a very likable person is what I'm trying to get out here. And the New Day, I should point out too, is that they were all paying tribute to Brody Lee. They all had him, his face on their gear, and it was just a really nice touch, and I'm really happy that they did that. So that was a nice extra thing that they did there. So I did want to go ahead and point that out as well. We have a comment from A Shock who says, did you listen to the AEW podcast with Amanda Huber? So I didn't listen to it. However, I know everything that was said because I read it on The Observer. I read everything. Dave basically gave like a really nice rundown of everything that was talked about in the podcast. And then afterwards, I listened to it again on Wrestling Observer Radio when he talked about it a little bit more. So that's basically, but I didn't listen to the actual podcast, but I know everything that was said and like the topics. And based on what I've heard and what I've read, Amanda provided a lot of detail, a lot of information, a very in-depth timeline. And I think that, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. I have to say that I just respect the way that Amanda has handled all of this. losing someone you love and then having it be in the public eye is not an easy thing whatsoever. Not only that, losing someone you love, losing the father of your children, and then having it be all in public, like, I can't even imagine what that would be like. So I've got nothing but the utter and most respect for Amanda on that one. I don't even want to imagine like everything she's been through. I don't even want to. So yeah. Alrighty, guys. So after this, we had the Bad Bunny performance afterwards. I don't know how many Bad Bunny fans we have on here. So I'm not necessarily completely familiar with Bad Bunny in terms of his music. However, I do know that this was a great get for WWE because Bad Bunny he's pretty known. Like, even though I'm not necessarily a fan of his music, I still know who he is, guys. Like, I'm fully aware of Bad Bunny and his accomplishments. So I did think that this was a really great get for them in terms of a performance. But I kind of used this. I wasn't really for me. So I was kind of using this as like a moment to like catch up on Twitter and see what people on Twitter were saying there, you know? Alrighty, let's see. Let's go ahead and continue on. Oh, we have a comment from Nathan who says that Bad Bunny is, I was going to say Bugs Bunny for a second. Oh God, how embarrassing. Nathan Vela says he's huge in the Hispanic world. I'm sure he is. Yeah, I'm really sure he is. But it was a good get for them. All righty, guys. Let's continue on. Oh my God. It is now time to talk about the Women's Royal Rumble match. So, holy damn. This match was very, very hard to keep track of, keep notes of, etc. because so much happened in this match. We have so much to get into. And this match, I think, was I don't know if this is going to be a controversial opinion. I don't know. But even though it was a little bit clustery, I have to say that it was the most entertaining Rumble of the night. I have to pick that the Women's Rumble was my favorite. It was my favorite because it had a lot of aspects of things that I like in a Rumble, a lot of really great surprises, a lot of really good spots, a very nice story in terms of like overall as a whole. And I just think that the final four, final three, final two, all of that was so well put together. And it really brought out so much emotion out of me as a fan, where I was genuinely marking like I was 10 years old. I was so into what I was seeing that this for me was it. This made the entire show. And I didn't think that the show would get better after this. And it really did. But I do have to say that the Women's Royal Rumble, for me, it did it, guys. It got me in all the right spots. And we do have some comments because I want to read some of your guys' comments here. Matthew says, Billie Kay should be Money in the Bank winner. And Peter O'Brien says, Billie Kay was awesome. Bye, Felicia says this Women's Royal Rumble was incredible. Like basically all your comments, I wanted to read those because I really did think that there was a lot of good stuff that they did in this match. And I also want to point out like the stars of this Royal Rumble. And I need to give credit where credit is due. I genuinely think that the stars of this Rumble were Naomi, Bianca Belair, obviously that goes without saying. Naomi, Bianca Belair, Billie Kay did so much and gave so much in this Rumble. She was so entertaining. And Rhea Ripley, obviously. I really think that those four women, and I hope I'm not missing anyone that I wanted to bring up. No, I don't think so. Those four women, to me, were the stars of this Rumble. They did so much good stuff. That's where you got to give the credit. So we kicked it off. The first entrant was Bayley. She was eventually eliminated by Bianca, which is a really good elimination. However, they missed it though. The camera shot actually missed when Bianca eliminated Bayley. So it wasn't until they showed the replay of this that we really got to see it. And then number two was Naomi. And I was really happy to have her in this because she's back and she was just like, awesome. Then number 3 was Bianca Belair. And this was when this match really kicked off, because you had Bianca Belair and Naomi doing these incredible athletic things. Some of their best moments included when Naomi and Bianca were doing like those cartwheels together. They had a moment later on in the match where Naomi was eliminated, but her feet didn't actually touch the floor. So instead, she used Bianca Belair's ponytail to essentially get herself back into the actual ring. And I thought that was so creative and so fun. It was something that I necessarily wouldn't have been able to come up myself. So the fact that they did this, I thought was pretty darn cool. Alrighty. And we have other people who are saying that Toni Storm was awesome. Shinzo says he feels bad for Alexa Bliss. I don't think so. I think Alexa Bliss was perfectly fine in all of this. Sammy says, I said all along I wanted Rhea or Bianca to win, but when it came down to the two, I was so rooting for Rhea. Rhea was my pick. So I think part of me was also really rooting for Rhea just because she was my official pick. So like in her winning, I was going to win too because she was my pick, you know? But I am very happy that Bianca won. Okay, so let's continue on. Let's talk a little bit more about the actual details of this match. Billie Kay, she was so funny in this. I was legitimately bummed out when she got eliminated because I was like, no, she was so fun. Just her interacting with all of the other girls, you know, especially because they have such different personalities. She did so much, just her coming out with her resume, going to the commentary table, getting a ball thrown at her from Shotzi Blackheart, her walking to Shayna Baszler, like all rough and stuff. That was really cool. She had a lot of great moments. There was a really good spot in this. So she had a little mini reunion with Peyton Royce, the Iconics, and so they're doing their thing, right? And instead of, you know, finishing off and doing their, you know, their Iconics thing, Ruby Riott looks at her and kind of gives her a glare, and Bianca, and then Billy's kind of like, oh, like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, I'm not going to finish because, you know, she's now friends or she's now part of, you know, the Riot Squad or whatever. I was so upset when they eliminated her. When the Riot Squad eliminated eliminated Billie, I was not a fan of that. I was so upset. I didn't like it whatsoever. Matthew says, Billie Kay is genuinely one of the funniest people around, not just in wrestling. Comedic timing is elite. Aaron Cave says, when Billie sold getting punched, but the punch was at the resume, that got me. Really good stuff there, guys. A-Shock points out Billie and Jilly. Yes, because she officially got into the actual match when Jillian Hall came out, which, by the way, I was not expecting Jillian Hall whatsoever. I don't even remember the last time we saw her. So that was kind of funny, too. So, yeah, we're going to go on there in that sense. Alrighty, guys. Let's talk about some more good moments. By the way, if I'm missing any moment or any person that you want to specifically talk about in this Women's Rumble, send in your comments, send in your super chats, and I will try to get to them because a lot happened in this match. So I'm probably not going to go through every single detail. I'm just kind of going through the ones that I thought were probably the most memorable, or just the ones that I wanted to talk about there. And another surprise that we did have at number 10 was Victoria. That was fun to see. Like I said, we saw Peyton Royce and Billie Kay do a mini reunion there. Okay, so number 14 was Rhea Ripley, guys. Rhea Ripley, I seriously thought, holy dang, she's probably going to win. She got so many good eliminations, some of which included Toni Storm, Santana Garrett, Mandy Rose, Dakota Kai. I thought that the interaction with her and Dakota Kai was pretty hilarious, considering that the last time that they saw each other on NXT, Rhea Ripley had put Dakota Kai and locked her inside of a locker. So that was kind of funny. And then Rhea Ripley eliminated Dana Brooke in like a really crazy way. She just like power bombed her, but she landed like really nasty on the outside of the ring. That was pretty cool. And let's see. We have several comments. Danny says that he popped for Rhea. David Padilla says, I just want Bayley claiming that she was never eliminated from the match because her elimination wasn't caught on camera. But David, it was caught on replay though. So I think that she probably can't argue that much. Oh, thank you so much to Zoe Wood, who brings out, what about R-Truth? So they had R-Truth coming out. He came out right after Alicia Fox did. So Alicia Fox came out at number 21. And then R-Truth came out and basically he's like saying like, oh, it's the wrong Rumble. You're in the wrong Rumble. But then this ended up turning into a 24/7 segment. And Alicia Fox ends up pinning R-Truth to become 24/7 champion. But then Alicia Fox gets eliminated. She gets eliminated by Mandy. Mandy eliminates Alicia Fox. And then after that, R-Truth is waiting for Alicia Fox and pins her to get back his 24/7 title. So even though I didn't mind this 24/7 run in, this whole thing with R-Truth, I actually thought it was sort of funny. I thought it was a nice little extra run in, even though it felt like there was so much going on in the Women's Rumble. I wouldn't necessarily say that I hated the whole R-Truth 24/7 thing. However, the Phenomenal Viper says, the 24/7 stuff in the Women's Rumble I thought was pretty funny. Out of stupidity, the other was terrible. Oh, Phenomenal Viper. We will talk about that. We will talk about that. Danny says, I was so scared when R-Truth came out. I was like, oh no, don't ruin this for the girls, fellow men. Yeah, you know what? Had it been anybody else, I would have thought that they could have ruined it, but because it was R-Truth and he's really funny and just genuinely likable, I didn't think that they would do it like that. He's really funny, so I figured it was actually going to go ahead and work. Justin Martin says, I just thought it was hilarious when Bayley shaved Cole into her hair and then Tom Phillips ends up calling the match. I didn't even notice that, honestly. Let's see. Roman Tulit says, the Women's Rumble was easily the best match on the card. Bianca was the right woman to win. I was also glad to see all these women shine. And Sasha is still champ. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, I agree. All right, guys. So, oh my God. Danger Russ says, yeah, it wasn't Santino. Dude, I was like, Santina Marella better not come out and take a spot in the women's match. I am so over that. It was maybe funny the first time, but after like however many times they did it, I was like, done. I did not want to see that anymore. So yeah, I'm happy that we didn't do it. Frankie Aponte's making fun of the way I said Sasha. Guys, when you talk so much, eventually you're going to mess up a couple of words. Happened just to mess up Sasha and call her Sacha. God, that was terrible. All right, moving on, guys. So, all right, where were we at? Because I want to talk about some more moments that happened in this Women's Rumble. And, all righty, let's hear. Okay, Reginald did help Carmella out at one point. Tamina came out. She went at it with Rhea Ripley. I wasn't really feeling this. Lana came out. Guys, Lana eliminated Nia Jax. So we finally had a payoff to all the times that Nia Jax put poor Lana through a table. And then Lana was quickly eliminated after that. Nia Jax came out at number 29. That punch, she had a punching exchange with Shayna, which was god awful. It was terrible. It was the worst punches I've ever seen in my life. This was not good. I was not a fan of that. And then number 30 was Natalya. And that was kind of it in that sense of who came out. But the final four, guys, this is really when, man, the Rumble just went from like funny and entertaining to holy moly, something major is going to happen here. Now, what the hell is that major thing going to happen? Because the final four was Natty, Rhea Ripley, Bianca, and Charlotte. Okay? Then, final three, Rhea Ripley, Bianca, and Charlotte. And I'm thinking, holy shoot. Once I saw that they were the final three, I knew for a fact that Charlotte wasn't going to be winning, okay? I knew she wasn't going to be winning, and I thought, oh my God, it's either going to be Rhea Ripley or Bianca Baszler. And I thought, I never expected for those two women to be the final two, all right? Obviously, that's something I wanted, but I didn't expect it to actually happen. So when it was Rhea Ripley and Bianca Baszler, there were so many close calls. And I was rooting more, I think, for Rhea Ripley, but I still wanted to see Bianca win. Like, I was really happy for whoever was going to win this match. And when Bianca did win, I popped so hard. I don't think I popped so hard for anything in a really, really long time. I think the last time I popped for something that hard was probably when Brock Lesnar ended The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. That's the last time that I can genuinely think of a moment where I was like, holy shit, I can't believe this happened, blah, blah, blah. So that's how this moment felt to me. It felt really grand. And then afterwards with Bianca doing her post-match promo, the girl is crying. That was the most genuine thing that I have ever seen. And it was just, I don't know what to say, guys. It was a good moment. It was a feel-good, star-making, classic moment. One of my favorites, maybe my most favorite ending to a Royal Rumble ever. Like, I have to say that that might actually be my favorite Royal Rumble ever in terms of like the finish. The ending, I really think that was one of my most favorite. I can't think of another one that really riled me up like this. And I'm going to post my reaction later on because I thought my reaction was kind of funny. I look really ugly in the video, but doesn't matter. I was still really excited about it. All right. Edgar Dominguez says, damn, WWE actually did push the next generation. That's what I mean, guys. Like, even though so many of us wanted Bianca to win or Rhea Ripley, I don't think many of us actually expected that it would happen. Let's see. Izzy Akhtar says, for someone who trains at the Heart Dungeon, I've never seen someone wrestle as slow as Natalya. If she wasn't Heart, she would not have been working for WWE for 10 plus years. I actually think Natalya is great. So I don't have anything bad to say about Natalya whatsoever. And then let's see. We have a comment from Bye Felicia who says, I'm wondering if they're doing a battle royal for the Raw Women's Champion at WrestleMania. If I'm booking the match, I would book Naomi to win. Naomi, I wasn't expecting her to win or anything like that, but she really showed a lot. And it's not even like she hasn't been showing a lot because she has. But this one, I think she was really up there. And I think that her and Bianca Belair would be a phenomenal feud. And I would love to see that. Like, give them like a legit good story. And I think so many people would be hella into that, honestly. Matthew says, wait, you finally recorded yourself on a cool moment? I did. I wasn't going to record myself because it could be kind of distraction. Guys, I know a lot of people do watch-alongs. I'm not really that much of a fan of watch-alongs. I kind of find it very distracting. I rather do my notes, do my little tweets, and then do a post show afterwards because I noticed that I don't pay attention as much to what's happening on the screen when I'm doing a watch along. So this time it was different. I literally just like held up my phone and just kind of recorded myself. But I was holding my phone for like 3 minutes and my hands were sweating like crazy because I didn't know what was going to happen. I was really nervous. I was anxious, but I ended up recording myself for that one. So I'll post that up probably in a couple of hours up on this channel eventually. And Bye Felicia also post out Naomi versus Bianca equals gold. Hells yes, guys. Hells yes. All right, guys. So overall, good stuff. Before we move on to the next match, I do want to remind you guys all, if you haven't yet, make sure to hit me up on Twitter or on Instagram at _Denise Salcedo. If you're just discovering me on this YouTube channel, please go ahead and follow me. Also, if this is your first time on the stream or in any of my streams, please make sure to subscribe. And we always have a really good time. I do all the pay-per-view post shows here on this channel. And then each and every single Wednesday night over on the F4W Online YouTube channel, I host my own show called Speak Now Pro Wrestling, where I cover both AEW and NXT. And it's similar to this pay-per-view show where I recap the show, but I also where I also engage with all of the viewers. And it's just really, really fun. So I appreciate it all. Let's continue on. All right, so after this, we had Peter Rosenberg win the 24/7 title. Guys, look, if I wasn't on such a high from Bianca Belair winning that Royal Rumble, I would have came on here and been like, that was awful. I'm so mad. It was awful. I will tell you that much. It was awful. I'm not completely mad about it just because I was so into the moment with Bianca Belair that I was like on cloud 9. And I kind of ignored it when the Peter Rosenberg thing happened. I was so busy tweeting. I was like, I don't even care. I wasn't even paying attention that much to that segment. But either way, from what I saw, it was not good. It was really not good. So yeah, that was not good. And Jake Larson wants to know, did you see the Becky troll during the Women's Rumble? I saw it. I retweeted it. Yes. It was not, She did a good job at teasing it. She really did, which in hindsight, if she really was going to come out, I don't think she would have actually tweeted it. So there you go. Danger Russ actually says the Rosenberg moment was awesome. What? It was terrible. It was really, really terrible. Rory 2 says Peter Rosenberg trashed this. It was not good. All right, guys, let's move on. So after this, get ready because I am going to put over this next match so much because it was freaking awesome. And it was Roman Reigns defending his Universal Championship against Kevin Owens in a last man standing match. And this is the match that, aside from the men's and the women's rumble, that I knew was going to be the match of the night. And it did not disappoint. We had a savage heel Roman Reigns, willing to risk it all, crazy person Kevin Owens, because he was hella crazy in this match. They got started off right off the bat. Obviously, there was a long break until we got to this match, but they ended up making their way from the ring over to where all the screens are at, where all the people are at watching. And the first major spot that we saw was when Roman threw Kevin Owens from the second tier area all the way down to the platform on the bottom. This was a pretty far drop. I don't know how much feet that was because I don't think commentary mentioned it. I think I was waiting for them to mention how many feet that drop was, but they didn't necessarily mention it, so I don't know. But based on the camera angle, it looked like a pretty long drop to me. So you probably thought, all right, Kevin Owens is done. He's dead. That's it. No, they went and did home so much more than that. Afterwards, they went to the back, and out of nowhere, I'm not kidding you when I say out of nowhere, Roman Reigns comes in a golf cart and he just runs the hell out of Kevin Owens. And it was such an awesome spot, the camera, because you didn't see the golf cart coming until you saw it. The timing, the spot, it was fantastic. This was really good. And you couldn't help but to just, I feel like everybody watching this, everybody had the same reaction, like, oh shit, like what the hell? This happens, blah, blah, blah. That was the reaction from this spot. We have a comment that I want to read from Ray, who says, I was totally glued to this Universal title match. Tons of violence, great storyline and psychology. KO was willing to put his body on the line. Love the swanton off the forklift spot. Holy damn, Ray. Holy damn. We haven't even got into that part. So after the golf cart thing, where you think, all right, Kevin Owens is dead officially. Nah, he comes back. Kevin Owens raises the forklift. I don't know how high, but he raises it up. He gets on the platform, on the freaking platform, and he does a swanton bomb onto Roman Reigns, and that was sick, guys. It was sick. I was so nervous watching this. I was scared. I was like, God, please don't let this go wrong. Please don't let this go wrong. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's how I felt during this. And then after that, we saw Roman spear Kevin Owens through the LED boards. And the ending of the match was basically KO handcuffing Roman to the light post, and the ref starts counting. Roman realizes that he's not going to get out of it, so he grabs the referee, runs him into the post, the steel post. Paul Heyman eventually comes out, and poor guy, he could not, for the life of him, get Roman Reigns unhooked, untethered, whatever, de-handcuffed from the handcuffs. Like, he took a long time. Like, you can tell he couldn't really get like the right angle to like fit his hands in there and do whatever you need to do to get the key out. That was probably like the moment that, all right, we know that something's not going as planned, because I think the referee even stopped counting at that point. But in the end, he ended up getting him out of there. Roman Reigns choked out Kevin Owens, and that was basically the finish of this match. This was great, guys. I think that everything that Kevin Owens did in this match, the way Roman Reigns used his savageness, all of it was fantastic, guys. I was a big fan of this. Loved this match. It was awesome. I can't say anything more. Brandon says, I thought that that was Kevin Owens' stunt double on the forklift spot. Dude, no. Kevin Owens just, he has like some sort of death wish. I don't really know, but I think it's awesome. I think that whenever there's guys that are willing to put their body on the line like that, like a Shane McMahon, like a Mick Foley, you know, somebody like that, like that's just incredible. Jeff Hardy, people like that's not something that's just anybody can do, you know? I think it's badass. Aaron Kime says, I love the spot where the referee was on the 9 count and then Roman takes out the referee. It was so awesome. I genuinely thought KO was going to win. Yeah, it was perfect. It was the perfect heel move, honestly. It really was. Justin Martin says, I was just wondering what Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara thought about that golf cart spot. I have to say that I liked this one a whole lot more, guys, but I am curious as to what they thought. Our Rig says, golf cart spot was good, but felt like they were ripping off AEW with it. Guys, I feel like at some point the comparisons need to stop because I think you guys do it on both ends of the, you know, both ends with AEW and WWE. At the end of the day, this spot was freaking awesome. AEW doesn't own golf carts, the golf cart spots, whatever. I thought this was fantastic. I loved when AEW did the Stadium Stampede and they did the golf cart spot and all of that. I loved it. It was I listed it as one of my top 5 favorite matches of the year. Even though it was a cinematic match, I still had to include it because it was goddamn entertaining. But for me, this golf cart spot hit a lot better, I think, for me. Let's see. Danger Russ says, I thought it was Matt Hardy in the golf cart. Dude, because he came out of nowhere. Stephen Butler says WWE did a poor job covering up for Paul Heyman having a hard time removing the handcuffs, and Roman could have gone into his feet anytime too. I think he did I don't know if he got to both, but he did. I think he was on one knee actually. Who knows, guys? Who knows on that one? But yeah, they probably could have. I think it was probably, I don't know. Maybe they just didn't know where to point the camera at. I don't know, guys. But it was a moment where everybody knew that Paul Heyman was struggling there, honestly. And let's see, we have a comment from Chris Balas who says, Denise, last time I had the WWE Network was last Mania. I renewed my subscription to watch the Rumble. This is my favorite Rumble pay-per-view, 4 out of 4 show. Wow, Chris, that's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that you came back. I've always wondered about like people's viewing habits, so it's really good to know this type of stuff. We have a comment from Danny who says, it was so hard for me to get too invested because I was burned out from the Women's Rumble. I invested a lot of energy popping from the Legends and Bianca, basically everyone in the Women's Rumble. So Danny, I kind of felt the same way that you did. So like the first maybe 2 or 3 minutes from the Kevin Owens Roman Reigns match, I was kind of a little bit de-energized as well from the Women's Rumble because I did feel like a lot of energy was taken out of me. But once they went to the backstage area, that's when I was like, all right, like this is going to go down. Like some crazy stuff is going to go down. So I need to pay attention. But like when they were fighting amongst like the screens, I don't think I was as energetic at that point. So I do feel you in that sense, but it ended up working just fine. Brandon, thank you so much to Brandon for sending in another super chat. Guys, you're so awesome. Brandon says, Vince McMahon will pay to own the rights for golf carts. I don't know, man, because Tony Khan got some money too. I think they can both, or I think Tony Khan could also very much afford to own the rights to golf carts if anyone can own the rights to golf carts. Okay. And let's see anything else here, guys. All right. We have a comment from Frank who says, I popped a nut during that. Oh no. Oh, Frank, come on. I almost read that. I thought you were going to say something totally else. I was like, oh, he popped for something in the Women's Rumble. Frank, that's disgusting. All right, guys, let's move on. I really need to start screening these comments, guys, but it's kind of hard. All right, let's see. 1 second. All righty. And let's see. We have a comment from A-Shock who says, R-Truth just as Elmer Fudd. Did he really? I didn't notice that, actually. I really didn't notice that. Really didn't notice that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on here. So after this match, which was great, damn, guys, holy moly. So at this point during the show, I was like, we already saw this like classic WWE moment in history with Bianca Belair winning. We had this great spot fest with Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. And I'm thinking this show has been fantastic. Nothing has gone wrong. Nada. And we still have a whole men's rumble to go. And now I'm thinking we still have the men's rumble to get into, guys. That is how much stuff there was to talk about on tonight's show. Before we get there, I want to thank Sean Ciarani for sending in a super chat. He says, Kenny Omega tweeted, in quotations, guys, I know they did it well, so props to all involved. And I agree. Wrestling is the hardest art form in the world, and fans just relax a bit and just enjoy the shows. I didn't see Kenny Omega's tweet because I was on the show, so I don't know exactly when he tweeted this out. But thank you so much, Sean, for sharing this tweet that he put. And yeah, guys, like wrestling, like I feel like sometimes people get like super crazy about things that just don't matter. Like I watch both AEW and WWE and plenty of other promotions, and I just feel like, yeah, like just enjoy it. Like it's like I'm not gonna hate something just because, like, let's say I'm just an AEW fan. I'm not going to hate something WWE does because, you know, oh, it wasn't AEW. And vice versa. If I'm a WWE fan, I'm not going to be hating on something AEW did just because, oh, WWE didn't do it. Like, I can't live like that, guys. If something's good, something is good. And it doesn't matter what promotion it is. If something sucked, it sucked. And it didn't matter what promotion it was in. So, Sean, I so much appreciate your super chat. You are awesome. And Joshua S. has a comment. He says, he preferred the women's rumble because of Bianca and Billie Kay, hoping Daniel Bryan wins the Elimination Chamber. So I said this at the top of the stream. I did prefer the women's rumble over the men's rumble, even though the men's was more of a clean match, and the women's did have a lot of little mistakes here and there. I did think the women's was more entertaining, and I did just got a different reaction out of me, guys. They really did. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's get into the men's rumble. So there was a little bit of controversy ahead to the men's rumble in terms of WWE backstage announcing the number 1 entrant, which was Edge, and the number 2 entrant, which is Randy Orton. I think in the beginning, I didn't really care. I was like, yeah, I prefer not to know who the entrants are. But then when this match started, I found myself not paying attention when Edge and Randy Orton came out. I think I was more waiting till the number 3 spot. And I think the reason why I wasn't paying attention right at the beginning was because I already knew they were going to come out. So even though I didn't think it was going to affect me, knowing the first and second entrant, it ended up affecting me where I kind of just like, okay, Edge and Randy Orton are first. All right, cool, whatever. That's kind of how I felt. But once everybody else started coming out, I was like glued. I was like, all right, who's going to come out next? So there you go on that. I kind of wanted to go ahead and mention that. I did think it's funny too that Randy Orton came out and he no longer has any of his burns, guys. Not one. Do you remember that promo that he cut on Raw? His whole face was red. He had I don't even know what he had on his face. I mean, it was not good, but he came out and he's like crystal clean, picture perfection now. Sami Zayn came out at number 3, and I thought this was hilarious because especially prior to that when he had that whole backstage segment with the New Day. So this definitely fit right into that. We have a super chat from Peter O'Brien who says, part-timer being the main event sucks. Yeah. Years of proof. I'm so mad. Oh, so Peter, you're not happy about Edge winning. Is that what you're getting at here? All right, you might want to clarify that one just a little bit more, but thank you so much for sending in the super chat. You know, I'm actually pretty surprised. I've been seeing quite a few people that were sort of upset about Edge winning. I've had a couple of people here in the chat that were a little bit upset. All right, and then Fat Laces P. Cola says, if you think about it, vipers shed their skin pretty quickly. Jesus, I didn't think about that. Aaron Kime says, I love when Mustafa and Sammy, and I forgot who the other person was, said that they are trying to take our spot and went straight after Edge. Yeah, that was a pretty good spot. I actually thought that was when Christian was going to come out to like help out Edge, and then he didn't. But Ray Santiago says, I love the nostalgia surprise entrance like Carlito, Hurricane, and especially Christian. And the fact that he made it like all the way towards the end too, that was pretty cool. Carlito, I'm glad that he came out at the Royal Rumble because I know that he was scheduled to appear for Raw Legends Night and he didn't because apparently he didn't want to travel for like a quick backstage appearance. And I agree with that. Like, I'm so much happier that he came out till the Royal Rumble. Hurricane, I like the fact that when Hurricane came out, let me see, what number did Hurricane come out at, guys? Hurricane was number, let me see here. He was number 23. So I like the fact that they tried to recreate that spot where he tried to chokeslam Stone Cold and Triple H. But they tried to do this spot with Lashley and Big E. I was happy that they tried to recreate the spot, but it wasn't anywhere near as funny as it was the first time. So part of me was like, I liked that they tried to recreate it, but it was one of those things that you can't really actually recreate that. Lila Scott says, I wasn't really happy when Edge won. He didn't need the win. Daniel could have won or Cesaro could have won. Yeah, see, for me, I wasn't completely passionate. And I'll get into this a little bit more, but I wasn't completely passionate about my options of who was winning because I think I would have preferred, as much as I did like Edge winning, and when it came down to it, once certain men started being eliminated, I was like, okay, I prefer Edge out of these options. But in terms of a whole, I would have preferred maybe somebody else, again, somebody that's, an up-and-comer or trying to get to that next level. But then at the same time, we had that with Bianca Belair, so I can't really complain too much, honestly. All right, so let's see what else we had here. We had appearances from, Damian Priest was number 14, and he was my pick for this Rumble, and he had a lot of really good eliminations. He eliminated Elias, Miz, and Morrison. He eliminated Kane, which was a really good elimination for him. Kane came in at number 18, guy with the most eliminations. He had a good spot with Daniel Bryan, former Team Hell No member. They hug, and then Kane chokeslams him. So that was another good spot here. We did have a spot where Miz, when he came out, he ended up trashing Bad Bunny's DJ set. So Bad Bunny ended up coming out and getting pissed and trying to get a revenge on them. And he ended up doing a crossbody splash. So that was pretty funny. He did a pretty good job, guys. I'm not going to say, I thought Bad Bunny did a pretty good, he had a pretty good moment here, considering that, usually celebrity moments don't always work out that well. But he's an actual fan. And when a celebrity is a fan, it just looks a lot better. So this was good. Let's see. We had Dominic Mysterio come out at number 21, and he ended up eliminating Corbin, which was also a little bit unexpected there. And then Bobby Lashley was the guy who ended up eliminating eliminated Damian Priest. I was so irritated because Priest was my pick, so I was kind of bummed when he got out there. And let's see, number 24. This is the one that people were very excited about, and it was Christian coming out. And again, they had a really nice reunion, Edge and Christian. That was a really good moment. And then they're having their little reuniting moment, and Matt Riddle tries to get involved and tries to be like bros with them, and then they totally turn on him. That was a really, really fun spot there. Number 25 was AJ Styles, and honestly, at this point, I wanted AJ Styles to win. Like, out of all the people, I was like, you know what? I want AJ to win. He seems like the person that I would want to win right after this. AJ came in and went right after Christian and Edge. Omaz ended up being like, he ended up eliminating quite a few people. He eliminated Big E, which was kind of surprising. He literally just reached over for him and pulled him out. He also eliminated Rey Mysterio, as Rey Mysterio was trying to get the 619 on AJ Styles. I was so pissed when he eliminated Rey Mysterio. I was like, why? You eliminate Rey Mysterio. And then we have a super chat from Oliver via Roel. Thank you so much to Oliver. Oliver says, Men's Rumble would have been a little better if Edge won as a surprise entrance instead of them announcing him. But whatever, WWE is going to WWE. Keep up the great work, Denise. Yeah, like I said at the top of this, I didn't think that knowing the first and second entrant was going to bother me until it did today. And I was kind of like a little bit like out of it. I do think that having him coming out as number one I don't know if maybe it would have given it away, though. Do you think that him coming out as number one would have given it away, especially because he was one of the top options of people that might be winning? I mean, aside from Daniel Bryan, he was the one that I saw a lot of people saying Edge might win. So maybe if the pre-announcement might have thrown people for a loop, I don't know, actually. I don't know. But yeah, thank you so much to Oliver for sending in this super chat. And then, all right, so let's get into, I do want to talk about Rey Mysterio also coming out with a sponsorship from Victoria Beer, I think. That was pretty good. Rey Mysterio getting that brand ambassador money. I love it. We had Sheamus coming out at number 27. 28 was Cesaro. 29 was Seth Rollins. Number 30 was Braun Strowman. Guys, when Braun Strowman came out at number 30, I forgot. So, like, after Seth Rollins came out, I was like, who's going to be number 30? And I was thinking of all these cool people that I thought were going to be number 30. And then Braun Strowman came out, and I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about Braun Strowman. Even though I just saw him, like, this past week, I forgot about Braun Strowman. But he came out. I didn't want Braun Strowman to win. I kind of was scared that he was going to be the winner. But he ended up not winning. Chris Blast sends in a super chat. He says, where was Lee, Edge? And he says that Edge and Christian made him tear. You're right. You're right. We didn't get Lee. Why didn't my brain go there? You're right. No, Keith Lee. Where's my brain? All right. And then Edge and Christian's moment definitely made me tear as well. Wow. Honestly, for a second, I completely forgot. Damn. All right. Okay. Final four men in the men's rumble. Braun, Christian, Seth, Edge. At this point, I figured it would either, once it was Braun, Christian, Seth, and Edge, I was like, all right, it's got to be Edge at this point. I didn't want to see Braun win. I knew Christian wasn't going to win just because, we knew what he was there for, just to be like a nostalgic spot. Seth Rollins, I didn't really care to see him win either because he's already at a certain level where I didn't think he needed it. But then Edge also didn't need it. I think Edge was more of like a feel-good story. Like, he just came back last year, had a memorable moment, was one of the top moments of 2020, period. So that's why I think I was more okay with Edge actually winning. And so in the end, Seth Rollins eliminated Braun Strowman and Christian, and then Edge eliminated, excuse me, guys, I forgot to add Randy Orton. All right, so hold on, guys. All right, so Frankie Aponte says Denise's brain is on vacation. It is, because at this moment, we forgot that Randy Orton was still there. So final four actually include Randy Orton in on that. So Rollins eliminates Braun Strowman and Christian. Edge then eliminates Seth. And then after Edge eliminates Seth, Randy Orton comes from behind and gives Edge the RKO. But then Edge ends up eliminating Randy Orton. And there you go. Edge ends up being the winner. God, guys. So, like, at that moment, I forgot to write down Randy Orton on my notes, but obviously he was in there. All right, guys, so that was the Royal Rumble. So give me a second, guys, because I have to give some shout outs here. By the way, go ahead and send in any of your last and final comments that you want to share, any last minute super chats. Go ahead and send them in, and I'm going to go ahead and read them out now. And then also, I need to announce the winners of my Royal Rumble pool. Here we go, guys. So the women's Royal Rumble pool, the winner for that, so the number 3 entrant, which was Bianca Belair, who ended up winning the Royal Rumble. The number 3 person in the Women's Rumble was Paul Furfecki. So congratulations to Paul Furfecki, who is at PJ_Furfecki. He was the winner for the Women's Rumble. He landed number 3 and ended up being Bianca Belair, and she ended up winning. So Paul is going to get a $15 Amazon gift card from yours truly, Denise Salcedo. Paul, if you're watching the stream, I will be going ahead and emailing you. So keep an eye out for that email, and you will be getting your Amazon gift card. And then over for the men's Royal Rumble, The winner was Edge, and Edge came out as number one. So the number one person that got number one in the men's Rumble was Ella Jackson. Ella Jackson, congratulations. She won for the men's Royal Rumble pool. So Ella Jackson will also be getting a $15 Amazon gift card at It's Ella J. So congratulations to Ella and to Paul for winning this. So congrats, guys. That was my first ever virtual Royal Rumble pool, and I'm hoping to do it in the future years because it was a hell of a lot of fun. Okay, guys, we have another super chat. Thank you so much to Brian Panthera, who says, love you, Denise. Brian, love you too. Thank you so much for sending in the super chat. I really appreciate it. I think this stream was the most super chats I ever got. So thank you guys so much. As you guys know, YouTube is a hard way to make a living, but it really helps me out when you guys send in a super chat. Or even if you didn't send in a super chat and you clicked on this video, you have no idea how thankful I am for you and how much it means to me that you came on here to watch my podcast, especially when there are so many other options out there. So I really hope that you enjoyed yourself over this last hour listening to my thoughts on the Royal Rumble. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You're on here already. Go ahead and subscribe. I will be posting my reaction to Bianca Belair winning in a couple of hours on this channel. You will see it on here. And if you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Twitter or on Instagram at _Denise Salcedo. Love you all. Do not forget to give this video a like and comment in the comment section. Hold on. We got another super chat. Matthew McCoskey says, add on, your mouth sounds dry. Get some water, Denise. Bye, Denise. Thank you all for the stream. I literally am thirsty as hell right now, guys. So do not mind me that my throat sounds really dry. But thank you guys so much. Love you all. Do not forget to give this video a like, subscribe, tweet me, and comment on this video, because the more comments we get, the more the algorithm will promote this video to new people. So thank you guys so much. Have a great night and enjoy the rest of your Royal Rumble night. Bye, everyone. Take care.